Welcome forgot about that part. Welcome everyone to our meeting tonight. Very exciting night because we are all on a quest to become more excellent speakers. And we have two members actually starting that quest with us. Even though some of us have been on for a long time, we love to see new people jump right in on this quest to excellence as we all become better and better speakers. But life is multifaceted, that we are after a lot of things, not just becoming better speakers. And I got to ask a lot of people what they're on for a quest for excellence in 2021, but I figured I should answer that question myself. And in thinking about it, I actually got asked that question today in by our business coach. Preetam and I and a few other people started a company together, and our business coach asked us, what are you trying to get done for 2021, which is very close to the quest that we're on. And I told him that we are trying to, instead of talk the talk, we want to walk the walk. So we want to give customers real products, not just be able to say that we can. And Preetam put more words around it, but I think he would agree with me that is our goal. And it should be more solidified, but we have a whole quest. I'm so happy. But moving on to the real meeting of tonight, excellence for speaking, we have 4 parts: our new member induction, our prepared speeches, our impromptu section, and then our prepared speeches get evaluated. To help us with this meeting, we have some key functionaries. We already heard from one, our Clapmaster, who I actually don't know who it is, but somebody clapped for me, and I know we have one out there, and it is Hassan. He is clapping for everyone to make you feel special. Additionally, Hassan will be our timer tonight. Would you like to explain that role, Hassan?
Thank you, Xavier. My role as timer is to help members, especially speakers, manage their time. So for the first speech, which is a 5 to 7 minute speech, at the 5th minute, I will change my background to green. And then at the 6th minutes, it will become yellow. And when it's 7 minutes, it will be red. And for the second speech, which is an icebreaker speech, 4 to 6 minutes, it will be green at the 4th minutes, orange at the 5th, and red at the 6th minute. Thank you.
Thank you. Give yourself a hand, Hassan. It didn't work. Oh well. Our odd counter for tonight will be Bhakti. Bhakti, can you explain your role?
Sure. I'll be looking for filler words such as and some repetitive words that are within your speech. And this goes for everyone who is participating today, including the Toastmasters, the evaluators, etc., etc. Over to you, Xavier.
Thank you, Bhakti. Hopefully, I think I already have some filler words, but hopefully they'll be more elusive in the future. And to talk more about the word of the day is our grammarian Kelly, in addition to her other stuff.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. Before I go into my role, I want to make a quick correction for Hassan. Ruchi's speech is going to not be an icebreaker. She had already done 2 icebreakers in another club, so it will be a 5 to 7 minute speech. As my role as grammarian tonight, I will be looking for some interesting uses of language, any repeat phrases that are said, or grammar corrections that are needed. I will be trying to look for those. We do have a word of the day. It is elusive, which is an adjective. It means difficult to find, catch, or achieve, or it also can mean difficult to remember or recall. An example of a sentence using this term is, Alex had an elusive thought about being in the sunshine on a tropical beach. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you, Kelly. These are functionaries playing key roles. And now we shall jump into our first section of today, which is our induction ceremony. Leading that will be Gaurav. I asked Gaurav what his quest for 2021 is going to look like. And he said he's looking to become America's next top model. He's looking to hit the gym, drop some pounds, and get a six-pack out of it. And I'm excited to see him go on this journey. Over to you, Gaurav.
Thank you, Xavier. Yeah, so the fellow Toastmasters, it is now. Thank you, Hassan. Fellow Toastmasters, it is now our duty and privilege to induct Ruchi and Christine as new members into Tigertales Toastmasters Club. This is an important occasion both for these new members and for our club. These individuals have come to Toastmasters seeking to improve their communication and leadership, and we now have an opportunity to help them learn, grow, and achieve. Christine and Ruchi, you are joining a worldwide organization that has helped more than 4 million people learn to communicate more effectively. As members of Tigertales Toastmaster Club, you will benefit from a proven program of self-development. You will become part of an outstanding group of people who are dedicated to helping one another in a spirit of sharing and enjoyment. Mr. Vice President Education, have these members been given an opportunity to discuss their needs and goals with the club? Have they been told how the Toastmaster program works and informed the many benefits they will receive, as well as the obligations of membership?
Yes.
Who have been assigned as mentors for these members?
Ruchi's mentor is Kelly, and Christine's is Shitra.
Thank you, Hassan. Kelly and Chitra, you have been asked to help these members to get off to a good start. Do you accept this responsibility and pledge to share your knowledge and experience with our new members so that they can immediately begin to benefit from their Toastmaster membership?
Yes.
Yes.
Membership in this club and in Toastmasters International is a privilege that carries within many rewards. Yet it also places certain obligations upon you. We are a group of people brought together to do things we could not accomplish alone. Our collective obligation is to grow and improve ourselves and to share our knowledge and experience with fellow members in a spirit of enjoyment. This means you must work diligently towards your own self-development, evaluate other speeches in a spirit of support, sharing, assist the club in reaching its goal, remain positive, and a smile on your face. We ask our new members to dedicate yourself to personal growth, to share this gift with your fellow members, and to help this Toastmaster club be strong and dynamic. New members, do you promise in the presence of my fellow members of Tigertales Toastmaster Club, make this firm obligation to attend meetings regularly and prepare fully for your each assignment, to apply yourself to the projects outlined in the Toastmasters education program, to participate actively in the club activities, to evaluate others in a positive and constructive manner?
Yes.
Yes.
And on behalf of all the Toastmasters, we promise the members of Tigertales Toastmasters Club pledge to support you in your quest and self-development, to provide you with positive, helpful evaluations, to maintain a friendly, supportive atmosphere, to give you opportunities to help others, and to make Toastmasters membership a rewarding and fulfilling experience. So welcome to Tigertales Toastmaster. Over to you, Xavier.
Thank you.
I think everyone's got to unmute and give an a nice loud hand clap for this one, even though it won't translate too well. Thank you guys for joining us. I'm very excited to see what speeches will pop out. Very intimate, very closely will be one by Ruchi, but first we have Destin, and his evaluator tonight will be Mommy. Mommy, can you explain Destin's speech for tonight?
Sure. Thank you, everyone. Fellow Toastmasters, tonight, Destin is working on his first project called Understanding My Leadership Styles in the Innovative Planning Pathway. He is expecting from me and from all the audience to look for his pronunciation, tone of voice, and vocal variety. I'm looking forward to hearing from Destin. Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you, Mommy. And now, as we prepare for Destin's speech, which is titled, Who is a Leader? I asked Destin what his quest is going to look like for 2021 towards excellence. And he said, on this quest, he expects to earn his degree and also 2 certifications out of RIT, and then go on to do some pretty great things. And this I definitely trust in, especially as he evaluates what kind of leader he is. Destin, over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. I thought of 1,000 ways to introduce this speech, but I couldn't find a proper one that would have both a hook to get you interested from the very beginning and a map to give you a glimpse of what to expect from this speech. Why? Well, it is because every time I hear the words leader or leadership, I am always confused. Honestly, who wouldn't be? But I have a good excuse though, or 2. First of all, for a long period of time, I had the wrong definitions of what a leader or what leadership was supposed to be. I had the wrong definition because I never took the time to really study those concepts properly. Okay, now that I'm thinking about it out loud, it doesn't seem like a good excuse. Whatever. Secondly, now that I'm getting myself more and more exposed to leadership talks, leadership readings, leadership training, I still feel like there's not a complete definition of what those concepts are supposed to be. Those concepts seem to be evasive, slippery, or elusive, if you prefer. However, I have to admit that my understanding of those concepts has a little bit improved while I was working on this project. And I was surprised when I realized that at several occasions in the past, I acted as a leader. Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and most welcome guests. Let me share with you what I learned about my own leadership styles and how it has improved my understanding of what or who a leader is supposed to be. The first thing that I learned is that there's not one leadership style. There are many of them, and each of us has a little bit of those different styles in us. In the beginning of this project, I took an assessment. There is an assessment tool on the Toastmasters International website that revealed that my dominant leadership style is the democratic leadership style with a score of 24, followed by the affiliative, coaching, and altruistic leadership style. When I read the description of each of those styles, I understood why they came out in that specific order. And I tried to look back in my life for situations where I applied those styles, even without being aware of them. And two examples came up in my mind. The first example was in a class situation where I would ask a lot of questions to my students and use their answers to build the lesson along with them. In a teaching jargon, this method is called socio-constructivism. It helps students to feel involved in the teaching process. It builds their self-esteem and it makes them feel smart. The second situation was in a time when I was given some responsibilities in my local church back home. I was responsible of a community group, mainly composed of young people of my area. And the purpose of this group was to have weekly meetings and to discuss around the Bible, to apply the Bible in our daily lives, and to build stronger relationships and care for one another. But even in that situation, I wouldn't be the person who took decision or to push my decision onto the others. I would always ask for others' opinions, and if necessary, proceed to a vote. These are the examples where my democratic, affiliative, coaching, and altruistic styles were applied. And those styles sometimes complete each other. When the democratic style is more of an open participation, an open invitation to step into the leading position, the other three is more person-oriented. The leader takes care of individuals of the group as person and also as a whole group. But the main purpose of this project was not just to learn about my dominant style. The most important thing, I think, was to learn about my weaknesses as a leader and how to improve them. It turns out that my weakest leadership styles are the bureaucratic style and the pace-setting style. A bureaucratic leader is someone who, according to the dictionary, is someone who is overly concerned with procedure at the expense of efficiency or common sense. So it is someone who always does things by the book, which is the exact opposite of who I am. Giving orders and making people execute those orders, as I say, engaging in top-down interactions with my team members are something that I am not good at. However, I understand why this leadership style can be effective sometimes, especially when decisions must be made in a short period of time. As for the pace-setting style, the leader does not feel it necessary to communicate a lot, which again is not how I conceive things. And this style is most effective when team members are self-motivated or highly skilled. And so far, I don't recall a situation where I was leading a team with high skilled and self-motivated people. In conclusion, from what I learned from this project is that a leader is someone who's supposed to have multiple facets, someone who can easily adapt according to both situations and to the team they are supposed to lead. And while some leadership styles can be dominant and others weak, it is still possible to work on those styles to improve them and have like a balance. That way it will be easier for a leader to switch from one style to another. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you, Destin. I certainly appreciate your struggle to find a great definition for leadership. One of our club mentors today, Corey Wilson, posted on Facebook about leadership, so I figured I'd read it. Great leaders don't set out to be a leader. They set out to make a difference. It's never about the role, always about the goal. Mr. Timer, can we get 1 minute to send some love notes to Destin? You guys can do that right through the chat. And that is time. Our second speaker for tonight will be Ruchi. Evaluating Ruchi is Sridhar. Sridhar, can you explain what Ruchi is working on tonight? You got a low volume there, Sridhar.
Everyone. Ruchi is working on a dynamic leadership pathway, and today she'll be.
Is there any way you can get closer to your mic?
Can you hear me now?
Oh, yeah.
Good evening, everyone. So Ruchi is working on a dynamic leadership pathway, and today she is going to give a speech for level 1, and this is a project called evaluation and feedback, and this is a first project she is working on. It's the first speech, and based on this speech and based on the evaluation, she's going to give another speech, and she's going to incorporate the feedback that she's going to receive in this speech. Good luck, Ruchi. Looking forward for your speech.
I asked Ruchi what her quest for excellence is going to look like in 2021. And she said she is looking to become a confident public speaker, which I think she's on her way to do, and also a strong reader, which if she reads as many books as Freedom, and we talk about books almost every day, it's I'm excited for what she's got in store. Speech titled, Trust Them Anyway, Ruchi.
Never trust anyone completely. When you do, have a little bit of doubt. People are out there to get you. Don't share your weaknesses to anyone. They're going to take advantage of you. These were the learnings I grew up with in a city called Delhi. Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and welcome guests. These are not entirely wrong. growing up in a city which is one of the highest in criminal activity in the country. However, when generalized, these learnings impaired my ability to connect with people, to trust them. I would think that anytime I would share a weakness with someone, they would laugh at my back. That everyone is going to take advantage of me. Fortunately, it did not remain the same way. Because of several people who came into my life at the right time when I was able to make the meaning of human behaviors. Today, I'm going to share some of those stories of these people and how that impacted me. The first person who sowed trust in me is my high school private tutor. His name is Jaina sir. He's not just my tutor, but my sister's tutor and my brother's tutor. He's our family tutor. I would go to him every day, Monday through Saturday, to study physics and chemistry. He would be there, standing there with book in one hand, pen in another hand, smiling the warmest smile, and greet us, "Good morning." It was 4 p.m. in the afternoon, but his energy was contagious. Everything was fine until one day, my mother told me that she didn't have enough money to pay my tutor's monthly fee, and she wasn't sure when she was going to get it. The next day, I went to my tutor and I said, "Sir, my mother doesn't have money to pay your monthly fee. I don't know how I can pay the money." He said, "Ruchi, don't worry about it. I will take care of it. You just focus on your studies." In that moment, I needed trust, and he chose to give it to me. I was grateful and continued working hard. My results came, and when I went to meet him, I could see the happiness in his eyes. I was fortunate to get a scholarship and able to pay the money back. However, can I ever repay the love, the compassion, the trust, and the time he invested in me when I needed it the most? As I became more grateful as a high schooler, I felt more reassured of the humanity. Although my college life was not entirely uneventful, the biggest events after that, after my high school, happened when I moved to a place called Rajasthan, in a district called Churu, in a small block called Ratangarh. I became a part of an NGO, and we had 2 tasks. The second one was to work in 5 different villages, in 5 different schools, and work on improving the education of the place. But the first task was to establish trust in one of those villages, in one of those schools, and find a home. We were not allowed, however, to pay any amount, monetary amount, to the people. We had to negotiate. We started with the first point of contact, that was our students. When I went to their school every day, I would get to know them. I would get to learn their language, their culture, their religion, their traditions, and what they would do every single day. Once I developed that trust, I would visit with each one to their house at the end of a school day, one at a time. It was then when I met Neetu. She was the warmest 7th grader who greeted me with a smile every single day. She asked me to come with her to her home. And when I visited her family, it felt like family. It took some courage for me to ask them if I could be a guest in their house for a month. We have a saying in India. It is called Atithi Devo Bhava. That means the guests are equivalent to God. They gave me a bigger honor. They made me a part of their family. Today, because of the digital transformation happening in the country, I am still in contact with Neetu, and she is now a mother of a 2-month-old baby boy. Following my stay in Rajasthan, whenever I would get homesick, I would take an overnight journey home or visit a friend just to feel good. This time, I was visiting a friend. I took an overnight bus, and as I boarded with several other passengers, I thought we were all taking the same journey. As soon as the bus started, I dozed off. I opened my eyes, looked around. There was one more passenger who was getting ready to get off at the next stop. A cold shiver went from my head to toe. All the things that I've learned over the years. Don't trust anyone. People are going to take advantage of you. Everything resurfaced. I looked at the conductor. He looked at me. He stood up, came up to me and said, "Madam, because you are a woman, we are going to the final destination, Delhi. If you were a man, we would drop you right here and taken some rest." I thanked all the spirits around me and the family of the conductor and the driver who raised their children to be such gentlemen. They not only dropped me off at the bus terminal, but also made sure that my friend was there to pick me up safely. These people sowed their trust in me and told me that there is more to humanity than doubt and uncertainty. Next time you're unable to trust someone, trust them anyway. With that, back to Mr. Toastmaster.
Excellent stories, Ruchi. I'm so glad that people have transformed you to trust and love even more. And now we get to see the fruit of it. Can we all get 1 minute to send some love feedback over to Ruchi? This concludes the prepared speeches part of our meeting. Next, we get to move into the impromptu section where anybody can participate. Leading that section from the Golden Gate Bridge is Chitra. I asked Chitra what her quest for 2021 in excellence is going to look like. And she said she also wants to become a top model, going consistently to the gym and eating healthy food. And I'm excited to see where that takes her. But now, over to table topics.
Thank you, Xavier. This wonderful section is table topics where you can learn to think on your feet. And for this competition, we have 2 rules. And let's hear from the rule. The first rule with the timer. Hassan, can you explain the timing rules for the game?
Thank you, Chitra. So for table topics, the speakers, they have 1 to 2 minutes At 1 minute, I will show this green background. At 1 minute and 30 seconds, the orange background, and at 2 minutes, the red background.
Thank you, Hassan. Let's hear from our grammarian, the second rule for the game. Kelly.
Thank you, Madam Table Topics Master. Tonight, you must use the word of the day or of the evening or next day if it's mommy. The word is elusive. Can everybody see it going the correct way? All right, great. The definition of elusive is difficult to find, catch or achieve, or difficult to remember or recall. And my example sentence again was Alex had an elusive thought about being in the sunshine on a tropical beach. So please use the word of the day or you will be disqualified from our virtual chocolate.
Thank you, Kelly. So the rules of the games are very simple. Be inside the timing limit and use the word of the day. Who wants to join the competition first? It's open to all members, non-members, guests, anybody in the Zoom call today. Oh, my bad. I'm not in the gallery view. Anyway, hi Preetham. So the question for Preetham is there a movie or a book that inspired you to start a new habit? The question is there a movie or a book that inspired you to start a new habit? The floor is all yours.
Absolutely. I actually had built some habits. There is a book I started yesterday that is inspiring me more to develop habits. The name of the book is actually Atomic Habits. Right? It's written by an author whose name is James Clear. He has a very interesting story. When I read a book, I start by reading about the author. It is said that to write a book, you have to first become the book. So people who write a book have actually become the person with all the experiences in that book. And when I read about James Clear, I saw that he had been injured while playing basketball. He had to be lifted on a helicopter, taken to a hospital, and put into an induced coma for 2 days. However, he recovered from it, and then he was able to bring back his elusive physical controls. Like he could not move his body, he could not remember things. Everything was elusive for him. However, through the power of habits, he was able to become a top athlete in his college. He became a very influential entrepreneur, impacting thousands of people. And then he wrote this book, Atomic Habits. So this is one of the best books I have read so far about habits. I think this book is on its way to becoming a classic. So if you are wanting to learn more about habits and how it can change us, read the book, Atomic Habits. Back to you, Chitra.
Thank you, Preetham. This was one book which is in my to read list, which I haven't opened since a year. But yeah, probably this year I'll start reading more. Who wants to join the competition next? Alex! The question for you, Alex, is what's one lesson about struggle that you would want to share with your younger self? Lesson about struggle that you want to share with your younger self?
Thank you, Madam Table Topics Master, fellow Toastmasters, and our brand new members. The lesson about struggle that I would like to share with my younger self is stop it. Stop trying so hard. You've all heard my story about the chicken and the eagle and how chicken flaps really hard but doesn't go anywhere. But that eagle that's soaring and what that means and what it's meant for me this last year about not trying as hard and staying in the center of my motivation and going wherever that takes me, riding on that wind that's bigger than me. So that means like when I need to focus on lots of little details to trust that those will take care of themselves in time if I stay focused on who's better at something, to trust them to do what is their job to do so that I can do what's mine. And especially at work this last year, that has been so important. And it has helped me to stay in this zone of motivation and peace that is so elusive, especially right now with all of the stressful things that are happening in the news and obviously with COVID and everything else, that by focusing on staying centered in where my passion and my motivation and my peace, where those things are, and being carried by those things that are bigger than myself, I don't have to try as hard. And that is the message about struggle that I would give to my younger self. Cut it out. Madam Table.
Thank you, Alex. Definitely one thing that people should keep in mind, that trust the journey, it'll all will come on its place. Who would like to go next?
May I go even though I don't have my video on?
Yes, sure.
I apologize for that, by the way. I will next time.
We're happy to have you, Sam, here. If you could write a story and it would become true, what would you write? If you could write a story and it would become true, what would you write? To you, Sam.
Thank you for the question. If I could write a story and it would become true, it would be the story of how I was able to find and to be confident in the process of life and trusting that what I do is enough. My efforts will amount to something, because often I am haunted by the elusive idea of success that sometimes even I'm not sure is the idea that truly belongs to me and my dreams and where I want to go. So if I could write a story and it became true, it would be the story of how I trusted in the ability of my mind to manifest in reality and through the motivation to do what I needed to get done so that my life would become what I truly wanted it to be. And that is a rich life, because softness is an aspiration of mine. Thank you.
Thank you, Sam. Wonderfully put. Mr. Timer, do we have time for one more participant? Oh, yes, that's good. Who would like to go? The last call for the participants of the game. Anyone? Anyone? Sarah, do you want to go? Thank you, Sarah. What is something you are in the pursuit of excellence, in the journey of excellence for? What is something you're on the journey of excellence for? To you, Sarah.
Thank you, Chitra. I'm going to steal my answer that I gave to Xavier earlier today. Sorry, Xavier. The area where I've been most pursuing excellence so far this year, which has been short so far, is breaking down concepts in the New York State curriculum, including the Revolutionary War, to present entirely through touch to someone who has very limited language right now. I have a student who is both deaf and blind and cognitively impaired. So to find interesting ways to have her relate with the content, which is so far in her 12-ish years proven quite elusive, has been a fantastic challenge for my creativity and has so far paid off some. All progress is progress, however slight it may be. If this week learning about the body meant playing in applesauce, it meant playing in applesauce, and I do more laundry than I would have normally done. In pursuing excellence, the biggest thing is to build a connection, to build that trust so that those concepts can begin to grow. Not only for her benefit and her education, her well-being, but it's also been amazing for me to break down all these big ideas and concepts into what is most important, which is absolutely something that any of us can benefit from. What does it really mean to have freedom? Well, let's give her a choice. So this year, learning about how to break down concepts for myself and for my student. Thank you, Chitra.
Thank you, Sarah. So the next part is where we evaluate how is everybody in time and did they use the word of the day. Let's hear from the timer if they were all on time.
Pritam, Alex, Sam, and Sarah are all they are all eligible.
Ooh, that's good. Let's hear from Kelly if everybody used the word of the day.
Yes.
That's great. I'll shoot out the poll in just a few minutes. Before that, I would hand it over to the general evaluator, Mummy.
Actually, Toastmaster Xavier. Woohoo! No. That's okay. Chitra was thinking about her next responsibility, which is making this awesome poll that we all use every week to vote. And that will come up when she types it. I'm sure she is vigorously coding it right now into the interwebs. And while she's doing that, I will introduce our next section. We've seen once tonight talk about her journey to excellence, but I will share another tidbit with you about Sarah. Sarah reads a ton of books, gets a whole ton of different perspectives, and now she's even posting about them, which is super cool because I'm always looking for new books, and she reads more than anyone else I know, honestly. And to find out that she doesn't see images in her head while reading was mind-boggling to me. That reading is still fun, but it is apparently. So follow in Sarah's footsteps towards excellence, towards reading, and vote as she starts.
Thank you, Xavier. Yes, you can follow me on Facebook and see everything I'm reading. We're up to 8 so far this year. Now, I could read all these books and do absolutely nothing with them. That would be pointless. We could give all these speeches and do absolutely nothing with them, and that would be pointless. We all need feedback. Feedback can come from books, teaching you how to grow better habits like Freedom, or they can teach you how to love someone that you never have met before. Here in Toastmasters, we get to hear from people who we may have not even met in person yet, and we get to hear stories about times in their lives when we weren't there. Those on their own are great, but feedback is the most important because that's how we're all going to grow. And we all get to grow from that because we can apply what other people have learned. We have multiple parts to this evaluation portion. First is me giving an introduction. Check. Next, we're going to hear from a couple of our functionaries, one of our functionaries, to get some clarification on the timing for our evaluators. Hassan, can you please remind our evaluators how long they have to give their feedback?
Thank you, Sarah. The time for the evaluations is 2 to 3 minutes. So at 2 minutes, I will show the green background. At 2 and 30 seconds, the orange background. And when it's 3 minutes, I will show the red background.
Thank you, Hassan, for keeping us applauded and on track. The next portion of our evaluation section is hearing from the evaluators. We had 2 fantastic speeches tonight. We're going to have 2 equally fantastic evaluations, I have no doubt. Our first speech tonight was given by Destin, evaluating him from halfway across the world is Mommy. It is very late at night. However, I am absolutely certain that you have been paying the fullest of attention and that despite sleepiness, you're not going to use any filler words. Mommy, who's been with the club for a while, served in various roles. We're all applauding him, is an excellent speaker, and I'm sure he has some fantastic feedback for Destin. So let's, again, welcome Mommy to give his evaluation.
Thank you, Madam General Evaluator, fellow Toastmasters, and most importantly, Destin. You did a very great job, a very good job tonight. For the highlight of your speech, first of all, you had a very nice structure of your speech. You started off with an introduction, and you said that you were looking for a hook and a map to grasp the attention of the audience. Though you didn't bring those 2 elements at the beginning, but talking about them made us pay attention to you. And you went on by asking rhetorical questions, asking why, and then who wouldn't be. That was fantastic in your introduction. In the body, you were able to use the word of the day and provided very important and fundamental technical definitions of your theme and detailed explanation. And more importantly, in the conclusion, you were able to make us understand what all of your speech was about, telling us that a leader should be able to adapt to the situation and the team. What Ken Blanchard called the situational leadership that gave a clear conclusion and understanding of your speech. For areas of improvements, you asked for pronunciation. I know that's a controversial topic, whether you speak in American English or British English. Since I came back to Guinea, I took habit to speak some American accent, and now people are asking me, what are you saying here? So, And being a francophone as well, like you, I know sometimes we face some problems while saying some words from country to country. So since you are in America and you want to improve your pronunciation according to American English, I have one or two. You said honestly, the H is mute in America. You say honestly. And also the was, what, that sounded too British. Maybe you can open your mouth, was, what, and that would make your speech better understood. So you wanted us also to look at the vocal variety. I think your speech was more monotonous during the speech throughout. You could probably improve that by using different facial expressions and tones to vary your vocal speeches. That would definitely improve your speech as well. So in a whole, you had a very great speech, which was structurally understandable for everyone, and gave a very technical speech that everybody could understand. Back to you, Madame General Evalier.
Thank you, Mommy, for that valuable feedback. Our second speech tonight was from Ruchi, gone from our club for quite a while, finally back. So glad to have you back for realsies. And evaluating Ruchi tonight is Sridhar, with his microphone all fixed and headphones in place. Sridhar has been a diligent member of the club, plodding along through the pathways and the legacy way. Legacy what? The legacy way before the pathways. He's been around for quite a while, and he always has fantastic insights that I always appreciate hearing. So I'm looking forward to what you have to share tonight, Sridhar. Welcome, Sridhar, along with me, please.
Thank you, Madam General Evaluator, fellow Toastmasters and guests, and especially Ruchi. So Ruchi, you started with a very powerful sentence that never trust anyone completely, which actually it's a very good way to start with to grab audience attention. And then you went on to explain how that people that you met during your lifetime and that helped you change that perspective. And then this first started with your family tutor where you studied physics, chemistry, and then how he helped you build trust and you had a good results. And then you went on to explain about your journey to Rajasthan and then how you met Neetu there and that helped you build on the trust. And finally with your story of conductor. And you had a good ending that to suggest someone that next time when to take some action when someone doesn't trust someone, they're just trying to trust them anyways. So what I observed throughout your speech is that good. I'll start with the good points. You had a very good structure and organization, and you used a concept of threes that a lot of Toastmasters use to explain your story. And you had very clear transitions between all those stories. And you also showed us the map and screens, which is very good to support the stories. And you had a very good local vocal variety and physical gestures throughout your speech, starting when you explained about your tutor and where you studied physics, chemistry, and you had a very good vocal variety and physical gestures at that point. So one suggestion that I feel is that you can work on maybe is working on the timing of pauses in the speech. I felt that in that the pauses were slowing down your pace, especially at the point where you were explaining about your tutor, that part of the story. So overall, very good speech. You had very good vocal variety, physical gestures, structure, and organization. And just one suggestion on working on timing of pauses throughout your speech. Over to you, Madam General Evaluator.
Thank you, Sridhar. That concludes the prepared evaluations. I am now going to hear from our functionaries, their reports from the meeting. They've been paying attention to everything that everyone has said. Now we get to hear about it. First, I would like to hear from Hassan, our timer. Let us know who is on the nice list and who is on the naughty list for time.
Thank you, Sarah. I will start with the speaker. Destin, he gave his speech in 8 minutes and 14 seconds, which is more than the time required. And Ruchi, she was on time, 7 minutes, 22 seconds. I told you that all the speakers for table topics, they are on time. So for the evaluators, Mami, 3 minutes and 39 seconds. And Sridhar, 2 minutes and 50 seconds. Thank you.
Thank you, Hassan. Up next, let's hear from our grammarian, Kelly. Please share with us all those fantastic uses of word of the day that I heard sprinkled throughout and all the other grammatical gems that you uncovered.
Sure thing. Thank you, Madam General Evaluator. All of our table topic members did use the word of the day, and Xavier as well as Destin also used it. It's a wonderful job, especially Destin, and maybe it was in your speech, but I have a feeling it was more a spontaneous phrase. So good job incorporating that. And speaking of Destin, a couple of feedback grammatical things. Let's see. So you described leadership as being in 1,000 ways. That was a great intro and way to be able to capture us in representing something in many different ways. And hook and mouth, so using those metaphors was a good way to start out in your speech. And something I noticed was your pronunciation was very good in the speech, probably the best I've heard of your speeches thus far. And let's see, you did use the word, I noticed with a couple of speakers tonight that we're using the word has and have incorrectly. Have is in the past, has is present. So you said each of us has a little bit of these leadership styles. I think you want to say each of us have a little bit of these leadership styles. It's a small thing, but it can make a difference in your grammar. Next, Ruchi, I only had one grammatical thing. You said don't share your weaknesses to anyone. You want to say don't share your weaknesses with anyone. Otherwise, you had an alliteration with your trust and time, describing your tutor in some of the ways that he was there for you. Yeah. Mommy, you repeated some a couple of times. You only need to say it once. It could have been filler, which I might be taking the counter's role in that. That's the only one that I had found with you. And other than that, if you have any other specifics you'd like to know, you can reach out to me at the end of this meeting. Back to you, Madam General Evaluator.
Thank you, Kelly. And up next, let us hear from Bhakti, our counter. How did we do with filler words today, Bhakti?
Lately, superhumans have been joining our meeting. And these superhuman have been giving perfect speeches without any filler words. So today I had my headphones on. So I could clearly catch those filler words, and I did. So first up, we have Xavier. You had one R. Gaurav had 2 R's. Sridhar had a couple of R's. And as Kelly mentioned, some was repeated a lot of times by Mami. Other than that, I have just written names on my counter sheet, and that's my counter report for today. Back to you, Madam General Evaluator.
Thank you, Superwoman Bhakti. The last portion of the evaluation section is my general evaluation as general evaluator of the meeting. Generally, I think the meeting was fantastic. We had great speeches, extended slightly table topics, including calling on people when no one was volunteering. And it was me. Oh no, Zoom just disappeared. Hang on. Okay. It's back. And we only had a few people on the naughty list, whether that's from timing or from overuse of filler words. We had a new member induction. Awesome. We haven't done that in a long time, so I was glad to see it come back. I'm looking around, I just used a filler word. I'm looking around at the folks here and thinking of how many of you have not had that formal induction. I'm pretty sure I have a clear idea of who that is, but if you were not inducted, raise your hand. I was, so I'm not really raising my hand. If you didn't go through that promisey thing that we just did, yeah, I thought it was you guys. I was right in there. So if you missed out on it, don't worry, you're still a full Toastmaster, but it is pretty cool. And considering that we have some folks here on the e-board that weren't part of the induction when they joined, I'm glad to see that it didn't fade away, even though I was a little bit creeped out when it was my turn to be inducted. I was like, what really am I getting myself into? Is this a cult? No, Christine, it is not a cult. Ruchi, you've already been in and been out again, so you already know. It's not a cult. You can leave, don't, Christine, but you can, and then you're welcome to come back. With that, I will end the evaluation section and return control to our Toastmaster of.
To wrap things up on my end is my favorite responsibility, because I get to make somebody very happy tonight with their virtual candy prize. I was going to share my screen, but host disabled it. Someone was going to look so happy. Do I have it? Nope.
Yeah,
no screen sharing tonight.
No, you can do it now, I guess.
I have it.
Yeah.
Yes. Someone's going to look this happy tonight with their virtual candy prize. Mr. Odd Counter, can I get a drum roll, please? Oh, Mr. Clapmaster. Not. I'm just messing up.
I think it's Madam.
All right, let's get a drum roll. Yeah. The winner of tonight's Table Topics is Sam. Woohoo!
Yay!
Thank you.
You're welcome. We can't wait to get back in person with real chocolate prizes, but you get to look as happy as that girl for tonight. Now, to conclude things with announcements is our president and fearless leader, Bhakti.
Thank you, everyone. Another wonderful meeting and a great start to this year. And thank you, Ruchi and Christine, once again for joining our club. Hopefully, we'll be seeing you giving more speeches in the future. I don't have any announcement at the moment. I'll see you guys in the next meeting. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Have a great night.